Hello, Penn State people. Hi, Dave Jones. I'm Bob Flounders. It's the BlueWhite Breakdown podcast, and it's a big week, Dave. It's a big week. The BlueWhite game is finally about here. It's Saturday. We're taping this on Tuesday. I know it's a big week for you. You have a big day on Wednesday. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll be thinking of you on Wednesday.
What's Wednesday?
It's April 20th.
Yeah.
Isn't that a birthday?
Today is my 65th
April 19th?
birthday. Yes.
I thought it was April 20th.
And I'm having a bad hair day, and I thought about a hat. Should I have worn a hat?
There's still time. Still time.
Today is my 65th.
I've never had a good hair day in my life, Dave, so I can identify with you.
Today is my 65th birthday.
Happy birthday! I'm sorry. I thought it was April 20th. I
You've never gotten it right. You've never known.
I was close. I was close.
No.
I thought it was in early April.
I always thought yours was the 22nd, and it's really the 16th. What?
No, Dave. It's the day. It's the day of the BlueWhite game this year.
21st.
23rd.
23rd. Yeah. See, yeah. I've always thought it was the 22nd. That's fine. Yeah. We both missed by a day. Yeah.
The important thing is if we can get within 48 hours of our birthdays after all this time in our advanced
April. We know it's
in our advanced stages. I think if we can get close, it counts for something.
Really,
Dave,
the hat? Huh? Is it too soon for the hat? Is it too late for the hat? Should I go get a hat?
It's never too late for the hat. It's
right,
never
I'm getting
too
a hat.
late.
All right. Cover for me for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to do a James Franklin filibuster. So anyway, it's been a pretty interesting spring. Dave and I are going to talk on this episode about, there is really, if things don't change in August, and James Franklin says that they will change, I'm not sure that they will. Penn State really does have an Achilles heel, in my mind, this year, more so than normal years. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But now that Dave has had it up.
Go ahead.
No. Before I do that, I'm trying to personalize this a little bit. So I just wanted to ask you, you came on the Penn State beat, was it 89 or 90, right around then?
91.
Do you remember anything about your first anything? And just for the fans, like how much has it changed at all for you, the BlueWhite game? Did they take it more seriously? Did guys actually hit each other? Like, what do you remember about it?
Yeah, they did. They did in the 90s.
Yeah.
They actually probably played at 80% speed. It was a real game. Now it looks like the Pro Bowl, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Really? Right?
Well, yeah, very much about it's just another practice. You know, we're not going to give a lot of the key guys a lot of reps, whereas I think, it really was, something to look forward to, a couple of decades ago. But unfortunately, do you remember? So my first BlueWhite game was, unfortunately, it was the 2003 BlueWhite game. They were coming off that 9-4 year where that was maybe one of the great 9-4 teams in like NCAA history. They lost 4 games by like 5 points, and they were all killer teams. And everyone was really optimistic about 2003 because Zach Mills was back. They had Michael Robinson was really good as a freshman. They were really high on Tony Johnson at wideout. Yada yada yada. Same old Penn State. We're finally back. 2000 and 2001 were aberrations. And Dave, that 2003 BlueWhite game didn't go so great, and the season was in the toilet before we knew it.
Did they get somebody hurt?
No, I don't think that they did. I don't think that. I think it was an overall talent issue with the 2003 team. The only 3 teams they beat were Kent State, Temple, and Indiana. And all the other games, a lot of them were not really that competitive. But that was my first experience. I didn't know. So if you were 91, Dave, wasn't a current Penn State assistant coach a captain on that team? Wasn't it Terry Smith? Was Al Golden on that team too, or no?
That sounds about right. I'm trying to think. You got me on 03. Now I'm thinking. I think that was a big year for Mike Gasparato or something. The BlueWhite game.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to get into BlueWhite games.
I don't think I think that's older Penn State fans would just accuse us of rubbing it in. I just brought up 2003 because that was my first one. But yours, if you covered him in 91, I think Terry Smith was one of the 4 captains. I think that was a pretty
honestly, Bob, I was on the beat in 91, but I don't remember actually going up to BlueWhite games. Yeah, that was just like Ronnie. And I don't remember going up there until probably the mid-90s or the late 90s. Yeah. So at that point, they did seem to, you're down on the field and you see big guys running fast and hitting. They can be at 80% speed, and it's pretty impressive. But I'm wondering if at this point they did get a couple of guys hurt, and I can't remember what year.
Do you remember when Bill O'Brien's second year, Zach Zwinak broke his wrist in the BlueWhite game?
That's right.
Yeah, and right after that, he was not happy about it, and I think it was even later in April, and because he was at the Caravan like a week later, and he was in not a good mood about the BlueWhite.
Well, yeah, I mean, all these guys are trying to promote the program for the fans. It's a fan experience. Used to be parking was free. Anybody could come in. And that was valid. And on the other hand, you don't want to get your guys hurt. I wonder, and that was probably a threshold moment. That was 2013, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I think that might have been a threshold where they said, we are not going to get guys hurt in these stupid things. Why not try just turn it into a skills competition? Wouldn't that be a good idea?
As long as the fans are entertained in some way, shape, I would give away free beer in the parking lots, not at the stadium. Just the first 3 beers are free. Come on out, enjoy the weather. It's supposed to be pretty nice on Saturday. Just come up for an hour, tailgate, barbecue with your friends, and then get back on the road.
What about a skills competition that involves fans, where it's a fan against a player? I mean, that is conceivable, right? Where you could have a guy come in off after drinking 3 beers, come in and try to throw a ball through a tire, like a swinging tire. He could possibly win. He could win. Right. It's possible, and beat a player. That would be hilarious. Or a quarterback from the team throwing deep balls to a drunken fan. That would be. I would pay to watch that. I mean, you don't have to make the fans drunk, but if they are, so be it, or like do what they did with us a few years ago and tried to get reporters to go out there and catch punts. I think you could get betting involved. Who can catch the punt? Who can't catch the punt? Scoreboard odds. All sorts of things are possible if you just think about it. That would be more fun than the current BlueWhite scrimmage, in my opinion.
Yeah, because really the game's going to be, 2 hours, and you're just trying to kill 2 hours. And if you can have the team go through some kind of workout for like an hour in front of the fans, that's not too taxing, and then have the second hour just be about, hopefully something very funny happening that the fans would enjoy, that would be great. But yeah, ways to improve future BlueWhite games. That sounds like another column idea, Dave. Sounds like one maybe you might be into.
Yeah,
about it.
We'll see what the promotion. Who are the promotional people up there now? Do you even know them?
I do not.
If you had a couple of minutes with James Franklin and you sat down with these ideas, I think you'd have an ear. That's all I'm saying, because their main thing is just not to get guys hurt. Yeah. That's the only thing he wants to do, is get through the day without getting anyone hurt.
Well, and the other thing this year that I think it's even going to make it more difficult to even have any semblance. He's been saying it almost since they do not have very many healthy, talented, ready to go offensive linemen for spring. Now, he basically said whether it's because he won't say what's holding people back, but they had some people leave. I think there's a couple players that are not healthy, but he doesn't talk about it. He's basically said they've only really had 5 guys all spring. They've only had 1 offensive line to work with. So you can imagine, Dave, what that's going to mean for the BlueWhite game. It's just going to be anarchy, man. It's going to be bad. I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to have to shorten up the game, but they only have 5 guys. And if they don't find some guys in August, like it could be that's the Achilles heel, because the offensive line is always a concern, and that's when they have like 8 or 10 bodies. Well, if you only have 5 or 6, man, it could be really bad. I'm more than a little concerned about the offensive line right now.
How could this have happened? How could he not have some in the bank at this point?
Well, I think at least one player who was capable of starting is just not available this spring. They have a kid from the transfer portal coming in August. He can't practice before then. But Rasheed Walker left early. I don't know. The guys that they're replacing were just Miranda was out of eligibility. Wilson was out of eligibility. The other thing is some of the guys they've recruited, Dave, some of these 3-star offensive linemen they're just kind of, I don't think they're ready for prime time yet. They've been on the roster like a couple of years. So that's the issue. I think they're in a little bit of a bind. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see Penn State with a lot of viable options coming out of spring, and hopefully they can get 2 or 3 players to come to Penn State. And they could always add another body or 2 via the transfer portal, but it's when he started his spring press conference by saying, we're really, really short a couple of offensive linemen. After what happened last year, I was just like, boy,
you let off with 03.
Yeah.
And now you're saying this.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. They have a couple of talented offensive linemen in theory, but Dave, I don't know. But I think every availability he's mentioned how limited they are on the offensive line. So I just don't. I think you're gonna be up there on Saturday, and I'll just point a couple of things out to you. I just don't think it's going to be a very, very. I don't know that the backups when they come in the game are going to really be able to kind of hold their own.
Well, see, this gets to the folly of the blue-white scrimmage in the first place,
right?
And what are the most dynamic plays in football? I mean, what are the most important plays in football defensively is edge rushers getting to the quarterback. Well, they can't do that in this game. It's not even possible.
Right.
They don't want to do that. That's illegal. You're not going to get that. And really you have a product that has never been appealing to me anyway, because they never wanted to do that. And they don't want to beat up their quarterbacks.
Right.
I guess the one thing they'll show off is the backup quarterbacks, and that's what everyone will come to see.
Yes, absolutely.
Vayu was an interesting quarterback last year.
Yep.
And everyone's going to come to see Alar. I guess you would agree with that.
And Prabula's done well this spring too.
Yeah. So that's if it looks like 7-on-7, so be it. So people will enjoy that, and it'll be a good weather day. It looks like it's going to be 65 and sunny, and not too much wind, so they'll be able to fling it around. So I would like to see a skills contest down the line and just forget the competition, because it's not really a competition. That's all.
No, and I think you're right. It's been years and years and years, and it's only going to get worse. It's like,
And what would you do if you were the coach? What would you do?
I would definitely scale it way back. I would make it more towards entertainment, completely entertainment, and not really have a lot of the quarterbacks are off limits. I would make a lot of players off limits, I think, at the blue-white game. I don't really think the fans. You're right. What do they want to see? They want to see those quarterbacks. They want to see Nick Singleton, the 5-star running back, run the ball a couple of times, just a couple, and that's it. They don't really care what's going to go on at the line of scrimmage anyway.
No, they want to see pitch and catch. We're not worried about Blake Zalar and whether he can be the second string center. We want to see pitch and catch. We want to see 7-on-7. And we want to see how guys throw the ball and catch the ball and run. That's all you're going to get. So that's what it is. I guess you did not watch the John Barr ESPN thing. Can we get into this now?
Yeah. What's it? Didn't he do? Was it a little self-serving? Was it like the 10-year anniversary?
A little.
I just saw the intro, and it was all about him. Like on camera, and I'm like, what's going on?
It's John Barr walking purposefully. It's a lot
unbelievable.
A lot of this, a lot of thoughtful. You remember the guy in Dateline NBC with the white hair? Where was she that night? You know that guy? He should have been in it, I think. It could not have been more self-important, and there's nothing new in it. No reporting. It was like this manufactured.
Yeah.
Can I say the word? Can we say that? They'll bleep it out. Bullshit. All the way through of 48 minutes and an opportunity, for Graham Spanier. Can you believe this?
I saw the written story about him. I saw the part where I didn't see the video, but they talked to Spanier, Schultz. Curley said no. I don't know if there was another guy, but it was just crazy. I think Jay Paterno was quoted.
Jerry Sandusky. That's the big crescendo ending. Yeah, Jerry Sandusky saying not only that he's innocent, but the only way Joe can be exonerated is if he is exonerated. That's the ending. I mean, you talk about it was brutal. I mean, it was just I don't mean brutal toward Joe or not toward Joe. I just mean the whole thing could not have been more self-serious and empty and hollow and overproduced. It was just crap. I mean, I can't. It was sometimes Disney does really good things. Sometimes 30 for 30 and E60 do great stuff. They have. Jeremy Schaap, I love. I mean, he's a good dude. Yeah. He had nothing to do with this. He's just
who produced this thing?
It was, I can't remember the guy's name. I've never seen him, and John Barr was the host. So even John Barr has done good stuff. He's done some good original reporting, but this just smacked of a contrived attempt to co-market this with the Todd Hodney story for whatever reason, which was a legit story. It was real, new reporting and unearthing stuff that I didn't know. A lot of people don't even remember him existing. I guess there was a Sports Illustrated story 42 years ago that mentioned him, but nobody remembers that, and no one knew the stories of all these women. It was original reporting. This was a rehash of stuff we all knew with a bunch of people we never need to hear from again. Graham Spanier being at the top of the list. He actually shows his ankle bracelet and says it's uncomfortable. Yeah, and says it's uncomfortable. And then says
that's the uncomfortable. Yeah, like that's the uncomfortable part about it, Graham. Where to go? Yeah.
Are you kidding? The irony never occurs to him. Apparently, I had to get that out because I didn't want. I watched a lot of NBA last night in the Sixers, and that was fun. And I just didn't want to ruin it with this because I knew it was going to suck. I just didn't know how much it was going to suck because this is the worst type of pandering to an audience that is curious and ends up saying, "Why did I just waste an hour of my life?" That's what it was. So you can watch.
All right, so you brought up the NBA. Like it's. I know it's that they beat up the Raptors for 2 games. Where do you see the Sixers in the big picture of the playoffs?
Well, I got to say that I might have been wrong about James Harden working with Tyrese Maxey because he's actually working really well with Tyrese Maxey right now. He's deferring, but what I come back to is it's the Raptors. Right. Scotty Barnes was hurt. This is an undermanned Raptors team that wasn't all that good in the first place, and I don't know what it means because they're going to have to beat the Heat and then beat the Bucks after that, you would think. Those are 2 different series completely. That said, it's pretty fun to watch James Harden at the speed he is now. He's not worn down yet, as he probably could be as the tournament progresses. Working with Tyrese Maxey, who is just a fabulous talent, and that is fun. And Joel Embiid is motivated, man. He looks like he's on a mission. It makes them a dangerous team. They look like a dangerous team. I don't think they can make it past. I don't think they can win, which is why I had a problem with acquiring Harden in the first place. You're basically mortgaging your future in order to win now. And I just don't think Harden gives them quite enough to get over the hump, to get over that hump. But, man, if they're going to do it, it's going to be now. It's a big task. And I don't think you saw the Warriors last night, but holy crap.
Apparently, how about Jordan Poole? How about that guy? Did he play at Michigan?
Jordan Poole. Yes. Jordan Poole. You know, he was not I always liked him. I always thought he had possibilities, but nobody imagined this. He and Steph Curry put on a show. I mean, it was amazing stuff. Behind the back passes from Poole, deep shots from Poole. He looked like a young Steph Curry. He really did, and they were playing together. And now Steph Curry coming off the bench, scoring 30 points, and Jordan Poole scoring 29, and just finding each other all the time. Klay Thompson got involved. The Warriors looked really, really good and deep with young players. So should the Sixers somehow get through the East, which I don't see, but they look like a dangerous team, and get to the Warriors, I anticipate the Warriors coming out of the West. I just can't see how they could get over all those hurdles. But that said, I think I was wrong about James Harden blending into this crew. He has done it. He's not ball dominant, and he's playing as a team player, which I did not anticipate. He is deferring a lot to Tyrese Maxey, which is what you want to do, because this he's a star right now. He's not a budding star. He's a really, really good player and one of the great young players in the league. We're seeing a change in the guard of the NBA, and people say, they don't want to watch the NBA. They don't play team basketball. Well, it's not true. It isn't true, and last night was an example. So I didn't want to get into this.
It's all right. It's all right. We got the blue-white game. It's all right. But I was just gonna say I'm nowhere near the basketball fan that you are. I'm watching it with one arm tied behind my back because Luka. I don't know if Luka's going to even play in that series, and it's just really not been a good series without him. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. Is the team that I think is fascinating to me in the remaining in the playoffs because they play so hard and the way that they play is the Celtics. I respect the adjustment they've had to make. I think because of some injuries, and they will D your ass up. That game against the Nets, that finish, that whole game with Kyrie going off late, and they did what they could to try and slow him down. They barely could. I just think that's a team that's got, because of the way they play, I would not necessarily count them out against many teams, because when you defend like that and you have a couple players who can score, I think they're a dangerous team.
How about the end? How about the end where Jaylen Brown is going down the baseline. He gets double teamed. There's like 6 seconds, 5 seconds. He somehow figures out a cross-court pass to Marcus Smart, who does not just cast up the first shot. He could have shot right then. And Marcus Smart, a jab step, and then again back across the lane to Jason Tatum, who makes a fabulous catch and spin with 0.2 of a second left, lays it in. I mean, that is team basketball. It was beautiful basketball. And for all that I bitch about hero ball in the playoffs, which I was always afraid James Harden would do, maybe he won't. I'm with you on the Celtics because they can do that on offense too. They're an interesting team, and they're going to be an impediment for whoever. They're going to be
a hard out. They're going to be a hard out no matter who they play because I think the way that they play.
That's the other thing. I just think the Sixers have a really hard road through the East. It's the opposite of the way it used to be, where the West was always better. This year, the East is really good, and the Celtics are part of that. Yes.
Dave, do you have an early? Let's conclude this Blue-White Breakdown podcast. It's a special edition because it's your birthday and it's also Blue-White Saturday, 2:00 Beaver Stadium. Do you have a morning line favorite for the MVP of the Blue-White game? Because chances are it will be somebody we're not talking about in the fall.
I got to dig into the
old Chiappielli. Remember when I think you wrote a column.
That's another name. Yeah. It seems like all these guys were Italians back in Joe's days, weren't they?
What are the odds?
All these 5'9", 175-pound receivers.
Cephalo.
Huh? Jimmy
Cephalo.
How about Malik Mega?
Woo!
Right?
Okay.
That could happen.
I think that's a great pick because he's going to get a lot of run.
He'll get a lot of run.
He can. Yeah, he's a good pick. I don't even know. It's going to be an offensive player. I don't even know if I could top that. It's going to be. I'll just go. I'm going to say.
Plus, he actually has some talent. You know, he could. Yes. He could show it off.
I'm going to say Tyler Warren. I think they have 3 pretty decent tight ends, and I think they're going to throw to all of them. So I'm going to go with the former quarterback. You're going with Malik Mega. I think he's French Canadian. I know he's from Canada. He had that one long touchdown catch against Rutgers, and we're waiting for the next big play. It could come Saturday. Dave might call it.
Speaking of that, before we go, are you watching hockey? You used to be a big hockey guy. You're just not watching the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I'm a diehard New York Rangers fan.
Yeah, but they're pretty good now, aren't they?
They're one of the best teams in hockey.
Yeah.
They did the rebuild and they did it right, unlike the Flyers, and now they are one of the top, I'd say, 6 or 7 teams left in hockey, and they're going to be good for a long time. They're real young.
All right. We also, we'll worry about that later. That's it. That's it for this podcast.
All right. What's new with the dog? What'd your dog get you for your birthday?
Kaiser, do you want to say hi to Bob? Want to say hi?
Kaiser,
can you speak?
Did he do anything for your birthday? Anything?
Yesterday was his birthday. He turned 5. We did a lot for him.
Wow.
We got
so August 18th, August 19th, huh?
April.
Does that make you're both Tauruses, right?
I'm a cusp Aries, and I believe he is an Aries. Yes.
Jeez. All right, guys. Well, Dave, I'll see you Saturday. I hope you're ready for the media. The press box opens at 11. I think the parking opens at 9. So I'm sure I'll see you bright and early.
I hope you have a lot of great story ideas for columns for me, Bob. Help me out here. Do me a solid.
All right. We'll talk to you. I'll be back with Daniel Gallen a little bit later in the week. You guys hopefully we'll see some of these people that are listening. We won't see them. Hopefully the people that are listening or watching, a lot of them will go up to the game. The weather's supposed to be good.
Come up and say hi to us if you see us. Yes, because this is the time to do it. We have lots of time and not much on our minds.
And we're lonely. We'll just say it. We're lonely.